Alright, here it is. It's finally here. I'm not going to do an unboxing because I was too excited. So I opened the box already. This is the new Walkera V450D01. This is actually the version 2. The reason it was a version 2 is because it is the 6-axis. And the way you verify that is by the actual receiver back here. It is the RX273HD for the 6-axis. High-speed servos, collective pitch, and very beautiful. Of course, belt-driven, which is very, very nice. So, it also brings the Devo 10 remote, which, as you can see, I haven't even taken off the peeled plastic or put batteries in yet. I'm going to go through the whole process. Before I fly it, I'm going to make sure that the servos are all aligned, that we don't have any issues or any problems, nothing's loose. I love the green, so I went with the green series, the green canopy. And let me show you this here real quick. Let me move this out of the way. I love what Walkera did here, where instead of these plastic connectors are actually metal with a really small rubber fit, so they come off very smooth. There's no pressure against the plastic like on some other helicopters. When you pop off the canopy, they end up cracking or breaking or stretching and destroying the paint job on them. So it pops off pretty smooth. So you see just little rubber pieces on here. And what connects them is nice little metal rods. The battery that it brings is 11.1 at 2200 milliamps, which I'm charging now. And of course, Walkera has their own type of plug, not fitting to most standard batteries, which is a 3.5 millimeter type of plug. So I ordered some adapters so I can use different batteries, especially the larger ones that I have. The battery pretty much rests here, and the package brings you a couple of pretty hard rubber bands to lock it down with, one on this side, one on that side. You're supposed to kind of balance it out by straightening out here, placing the battery with the rubber bands, grabbing your 2 fingers here, and kind of lifting the copter. If you see it fall to the back, then you move the battery a little front. If you see it falling forward, you move the battery a little back. Try to give you a little good balance. Let me go ahead and get in close here, give you a little sneak preview. Now, yes, the blades are carbon fiber. They're nice, they're clean. The whole system is a combination of metal and carbon fiber. I really love this setup. It is so clean, it's so easy. There's so little parts to worry about. Since this is a fly barless system, we don't have to worry about the additional servo arms or anything else in here. So we want to make sure that everything is level, that our swash plate is nice and level, which I'll be able to test once I turn the receiver on. But what I am going to do the first time I turn this thing on, and it's highly recommended, is actually unplug the motor completely. We don't want these things spinning out and hurting anybody, just in case, especially since these things have standard mode, and they also have the stunt mode 1 and stunt mode 2. So since this is a pretty new receiver to me, I'm not going to take any chances. So step 1, I'm going to kind of go through everywhere, check all the screws, make sure everything is nice connected, make sure nothing is loose. Then I'm going to power it up. I'm going to check the servo arms, I'm going to check the swash plate, make sure everything is nice and neat, and then I'm going to fire it up. And for those of you who don't know, that these little actual stickers here, they serve a purpose besides being pretty. When you actually crank this on the first time and you sit back once it's nice and level and see the blade spin, if you see the red coming up, then it tells you that that blade has to be adjusted, or this one coming up or coming down. So the 2 points on here as the blade spins will kind of give you an idea if both blades are lining up on the spin perfectly or if one is going higher or lower. And based on that, you just kind of turn and twist the servo arms to adjust that. I won't be doing any major adjustments. Everything looks pretty clean from the factory. I don't see anything too off here. And it's pretty straight even though I haven't even fired up yet. So that's the initial. I'll give you guys a full rundown on everything once I launch it up, but there's a closer view of the tail motor itself. I mean the tail setup. This is all a belt system. You see the little belt right there. And then of course the rear has its own servo that controls it. And a pretty good, decent, high power antenna. Alright, now I have no idea what this is. Might be like a little piece of extra dust or something that crammed in there. Or however they glue this thing down. I always like double checking these installations, making sure that they didn't put too much padding on one side. Which I think they did. It looks like there's like a two-sided mounted tape there. There's a little more on this side than there should be. So I might cut it down, clean it up a little bit. Just get it as perfect as possible. Alright, and then here goes our gears, which the main gear is where the motor powers. And then the second gear in the bottom, which is connected to the main gear, which actually what spins the belt that's in there, the belt driven system. See? So it's pretty good. Alright, well, again, brushless motor. Nice system, nice setup. Pretty happy so far with what I see. The box came a little beat up, like it always does, but I want to make sure that nothing of the copter itself was damaged. The blades weren't broken. I didn't see any bends on the internal. So far the setup looks pretty good, whoever put it together. I'm going to check all the screws, and depending how tight they come in, how clean they are, I might use Loctite on them just to keep the vibration down on everything. Alright, and let me give you a quick bottom view of this here. You can see the motor in the bottom here, and this actually has those 4 pins are for the FPV camera setup that you can buy. And what I do love is that we have so much room in here. Let me move the camera to the back. All of this in here, where if you feel like going crazy and put it in a huge extended battery and connect it from the back, it'll fit. You know, and just compensate the weight in the front with like a heavier camera or something. Also, when you put in the FPV system, any additional receivers on here can be placed in here out of the way. And you won't have nothing sticking out, nothing bulky. I'm really surprised that Walkera installed this way. With having all that room in there, I would have just went with this installed inside. Face the motor cables out that way, install this way, and then just pull these cables out through here where you can feed it to the battery better. So again, depending how this flies, I know it was balanced with this on this side, but I might get bored, clip this off, and just rewired this thing completely. Because I don't like that sticking out the side. I mean, I personally don't. I don't like that I have to connect it here with the cable. I'd rather keep it out of the way and keep everything nice and clean on the outside. So, let's see. Again, this was the Walkera, the new 450D01 6-axis, which is also referred to as the V2 of this series. And with the Walkera Devo 10 remote, 10 channel, 2.4 gigahertz. With all the bells and whistles and the little pretty put away antenna. And I think this takes, I'm not too certain, this probably has, let me double check here. You know, it has to charge. Oh, wait a minute, this has the charge ports? Oh, what kind of battery does this bring? Okay, it's just a regular, but you can pop out the whole thing. Yeah, there it is. You can pop out the whole thing and put in a receiver battery, either LiPo or NiCad. Here it is. 8 pieces, 1.2 volt AA NiCad. It's 9.6, 600 mAh 8 pieces of 1.7. Okay, so we can replace this with like a LiPo or a NiCad battery on there. Here's the connector for either the computer or for the trainer port. We have the USB for downloading from the web any kind of upgrades. And then we have a charger port for some reason. I guess if you're going to use the NiCad, only used for charging rechargeable nickel metal hydride and EC battery packs. Alright, so I might just go ahead for a NiCad battery pack and then just get the little charger adapter for it. It's pretty decent, a nice feel to it. It's nice and heavy. I love the arm grip behind it. Little diodes, it can be tuned to anything. So many pretty buttons. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun on this guy. And the bag also brings USB cable, the trainer cable where you can connect to either a trainer port on another device, a CD, and finally, actually, Walkera actually provided, which I love, an actual user's manual. Now, even though I downloaded the user manual already, and I kind of read this thing because it took a while to get here. I like that they're providing it with the print model. So let me give you a little walk around. Take a look at it. See both sides. Pretty neat. I'm happy so far. Haven't cranked it on yet, but very, very happy with the quality, the construction, and the way it's set up. And besides that, don't like that right there. That's the only thing I think that Walkera could have done better on. And I think they probably did it on purpose to balance out the weight from the high-speed servo that's on this side. So they probably thought, well, if that's over here, and we balance that over there, and then we have a perfect central weight. You know, maybe there was a method to their madness, but regardless, I'd rather balance it out with something else and, you know, make it look pretty. All right.